あれまた僕が映ってる。あれこれがね、結構良くなるんですよね。違う、これじゃない。ちょっと待ってね。これはカップヘイ。ちょっと待ってね。よいしょ。あれこんばんは。ちょっと待ってね。あ、出た。ちょっと待ってね。ちょっと待ってよ。ちょっと待ってね。音量がね、だいぶでかいんだよね。はい、行きました。どうもこんばんは。トカゲ系 Vtuber の嗚切と巻と申します。虫たちね。ちょっとね。ということで、今日は、なんかね、絶対とまきくんが喜ぶだろうからっていうことで、アイリーさんに素敵なゲームを送っていただきましたので、こちら、何なんて読むの？ジェニタルジョースティングわかんない。何かに似てるけど、多分違うので、バンしないでほしいなと。まあ大丈夫でしょ。他にも配信してる人いたからっていうことで。はい。うだうだ話しててもしょうがないので、ストーリーモードです。やっていきます。パンちょっと待ってね。パン。Where? おう。ちょっと待って。QWERTY。AZERTY。DV、わかんない。これか？ Show controls。Q S Z D どういうことだ？これ難しくないか？ Jousting。ニューゲーム。やっていきます。何かに似てるけど、よくわかんないからね。ということで、ユエルさんとパグと、リサさんいらっしゃい。Go to the left。right。こっち、右でした。レフト。きつ。トップ。きた！トップ。ボトン。Where? キーボードむずっ。どうすんの？ Knock the apple of the trees。さっきのか。来たな。違う。操作むずい、これ。どうしたらいいのこれ。どうしたらいいんだ。こうかどうしたらいいんだわかんない。落ちた。来たね。 ご飯食べてから。Eat another apple. 臭い。吸い込まれる。What? No one will ever love you. わあわあ知らないよ痛い
John woke to the shrill cry of his alarm clock and lay there, rigid, his usual morning condition. But there was another reason John couldn't get out of bed. It was the weight. A weight that had nothing to do with his muscles or fat or sweaty blankets. John was weighed down by a piece of paper. The invitation to his high school reunion. From across the years, the words he'd heard in the schoolyard were still clear. You're a loser. No one will ever love you.
日本語で OK。やば。Okay.
John needed to shower and wash off the sweaty
Get
stink
clean.
of desperate sadness.
Okay. これで、おい。ブラッシュ、ティーン、ティース。歯あんのこいつ。なんか浮いてる。何これ。どこが歯なの？こっちなの？あ、汚い小巻き、小巻き。ぽっPick an outfit. OK。ちょっと待ってね。コメント読んでない。ちょっと待ってね。汚い。頭が、なんかね、お口むってなってるみたいな方。やりしたがるってことは服は着る。クロニカさんいらっしゃい。うったらさっき言ってなかったらいらっしゃい。ご飯ちゃんと食べてから来て。
John had 3 months until the reunion to turn his life around. First, he needed to clean up.
Clean up, okay. Clean dishes. Take care of leftovers. 皿洗って、汚ね。うわあ。
The only reason he'd ordered so much takeout was because Delilah, the delivery peen, made John feel butterflies in his testicles.
吸ってるーこれ何皿なんじゃねえのこれ。皿は洗えないのかだね。クリーンディッシャーズ。ブチュブチュ。ディッシュ。ディッシュイズどこなんか危ないの置いてる。皿が汚れそう。ちょっと待ってよ。どうだこれじゃなくて、クリーン綺麗にしろっちゅうことでしょわかんない。ちょっと待って。
John's head was on fire. He seemed surprised. He shouldn't have been.
ごめんって。サプライズじゃないから。あ、取れた。あー！いいんだ、それ。嘘やろ。お前やばいぞ。
John suddenly realized the time. Distracted by his new drive to improve his life, he had become late. He needed to hurry, or he'd miss the bus to work. John called it his study, but it was basically for games and porn. Mostly porn. ダメだろ、これ。ジョン何しろって？あ、いた。 John had left his apartment late, but if he caught the express bus, he might make it to work on time. John didn't really like his job, but it had two qualities in its favor. One, he could pay his rent, and two, Barbara. Currently, John's top candidate for his reunion date.
OK、日本語で OK。
John noticed a moderately attractive peen waiting at the stop.
John.
He was tempted to talk to her.
え？おお、バス来た。出た。車運転できるらしい。
The office hummed with cold fluorescent lighting. The air was cold and stale, lifeless. How long had John worked here? Long enough to deserve better. John was late, but he felt daring. He could sneak into the office through the archives, or he could stroll through the front entrance with enough confidence to bluff his boss.
Okay.
Predictably, he chose the direct route.
Okay. なんで？OK。なんだ？OK。あー、ごめんなさい。
John was nearly trampled by the
ごめんな
morning
さい。
coffee rush. Everyone else was hard at work, grinding away.
ここだろ、僕
John
の
might
席。
actually get away with this. The boss.
ごめんな
He
さい。
homed in on John, deluging him with spit and buzzwords.
ごめんなさい。
The
ごめんなさい。
boss ran out of synonyms for John's failings and gave him an
ごめんなさい。
ultimatum. Barbara would
なんで
definitely
こんな姿
not
になって
be
俺
interested
上司
in
に怒られな
dating
きゃいけない
John
わ
if he
け。
was unemployed. He had to get to the quality assurance
許せ許せ。
department.
別のコピー取ろうとして、コピー機のガラス割ったバカがいた。やばいじゃん。うち。
There
Ah.
might be a faulty dildo just waiting to cost the company millions in
Ah.
lawsuits. John would have to test them all. Every atom of John's rectum began to vibrate with the frequencies of pure
Oh.
pleasure. His orifice was a paradise. This vibrator would end all wars. It was good.
It was good. なんかナレーターがめっちゃ楽しそうやったんやけど、これ。おお、そういう仕事してんの？
Two.
そういうお仕事なんだね。
Prostate Pounder
わお
X900 series, the most advanced vibrator on the market.
X900 シリー
Mother
ズ。
of no
Wow.
drama, too much pleasure for one anus.
OK!
to handle.
わーわーああああ わーディルドつってるね。
John's butt hurt, but his heart was proud.
Oh.
If that vibe had gotten out into the world, it could have injured a customer as badly as it had ravaged his anus.
Asshole. Oh. Band-aid. あれが欲しい。あれが欲しい。上の。落ちてきた。
The boss arrived and congratulated John on taking one for the team and jumping on the hand grenade, or in this case, putting it up his butt.
そうやって貼るんだ。
John was having trouble following the
メガネ
conversation
取れてますよ。
because he was quite high on suppository painkillers. And then the boss said it. Promotion. Finally, the company was recognizing John's hard work and ignoring his minor
上司めっちゃ
faults
ブチ切れと
like
る。
lack of talent, constant lateness, and flatulence.
もう使い物にならなさそう。それはそう。あ、なんか吹いた。
John's new office smelt like polished wood and success.
Oh.
John's success.
John's success.
Sam dropped by. He'd
Wow,
heard
Sam
John had been hurt. John said he was fine. He wasn't a softie to complain about a mildly ruptured rectum. Besides, he had a promotion to celebrate. John had met Sam in college during a sports ball game. He'd given him some stiff competition.
なんか突然、なんだ I don't know English. ちょっとよくわかんないですね。やめろー鳥もちゃんとあんな感じなんだ。やめろ。あー
Even when he won, Sam never acted like he was better than John. They'd started at Flesh Corp product testing together. Nothing builds a friendship like a long day of dildo mounting.
Dildo mountain.
Yes.
Yes.
John had known Sam for a while. But John couldn't hang out with Sam. He had a reunion to
Go
prepare
find
for.
Barbara.
He was going out with Barbara tonight. He just had to ask her.
Okay? Barbaraに
Everyone
会い
was
に行けば。
quiet,
寝とる
listening to the presentation. A good moment for John to ask Barbara out.
デロン。Ask Barbara out. Ask.
That's not Barbara, John.
That's not Barbara. Okay, I know, okay. 邪魔なんだよ、お前はよ。
Warmer. John was working his way to Barbara.
Barbara is どこ Barbara? どんな感じ
Barbara agreed. Well,
Agreed.
She
Wow.
nodded. Sort of.
Uh-huh.
Things were really going John's way.
穴のまそこ草。
John tried to act as suave as possible and listen to Barbara talk business. He didn't want to blow his chances of
トーク
long-term
ビジネスって
love
これで
and short-term sex.
Sex.
Barbara began to talk about monthly feedback figures, and John started to zone out, imagining him and Barbara at the reunion, a power couple. She would make his classmates sick with envy.
Okay.
If he could get her to tone down the boring chatter. John's balls were gripped by certainty. Barbara was the perfect date for the reunion.
Show off your skill behind the bar. Oh, 僕の
John
スキル
thought he would impress Barbara by going behind the bar and showing the
はいはい。
bartender a thing or two.
バーテンダーできますよ、僕。任せてください。
Despite Barbara's protests that it was unnecessary, John knew that a true gentleman should follow her home.
Uh-huh.
He was excited. There
Work
was still
Barbara
3 months
home.
until the reunion, and he'd already
家
landed
にお
his
呼ばれです
perfect
ね。
date. All he
デート。
had to do was seal the deal.
OK。お家に来ちゃう
Barbara Barbara thanked John for the evening and politely did not invite him inside for coffee or sex, even though John had dropped some pretty obvious hints he'd be into both, or just the sex.
Oh.
The door slammed on John's hopes. He didn't understand. He'd laughed at all Barbara's pie chart jokes. He'd listened to her boring stories. The blank eyes of the lawn flamingos were witnesses to John's shame.
ダメですね。失敗したらどうすんの？
John began the lonely walk home, thoughts tumbling like shoes in a dryer. He had done everything wrong. Barbara had led him on just to humiliate him.
OK。取り控えてのものを。めちゃめちゃ。
John felt empty.
Feeling empty.
How could he get love? He felt like he was missing something, some key to attracting sex. But John was shooting blanks.
犬はちゃんと犬なんだ。
What did Peens want? Then it hit John out of nowhere. Stuff. He had the success. He just needed to show it off. But where was John going to get all the stuff he wanted? John needed a sign.
Oh. Oh!
A new day, a new John. He waited outside his local buttload store for it to open, eager to spend his promotion bonus on stuff. The best way to impress women.
Thank you. Satsu sama吸って。ケツで吸って。ブリブリ。お前のケツは口は何のためにあるんや。札束吸え、よし。
There's nothing like a rectum full of money to make you feel like a man.
どうしてでしょうね。汚ねえな。あんまりチップを巻くんじゃないよ。寝てる。痛い。こうですね。
Suddenly it occurred to John that he was going to make a lot of choices. And every one of those choices would tell the world who he was. Did he want cheese or sausage? What would a date think when they sat in John's home? Comfort or style? John went with comfort. Plus, it matched the couch he already had. John weighed up all the differences, but this was a tough choice.
This. Please.
John chose the extremely, obviously bad TV.
Oh. こっちかな。ください。
John realized that it was only 29 days until the reunion.
Please. 2 months and 29 days. なんて
Cactus or rose?
Oh,
was John a rugged hero or a romantic poet? If John grew his own flowers, then he'd save on romantic gestures in the long run.
なんか言えよ。なんで死ぬの僕。
There was nothing John could take with him to the
そういう骨なんだ。ああ。Why?
Except his coffin.
Oh.
John liked to get his pizza delivered. That way he could see Delilah, the delivery peen. She always made him smile.
パイナップルは好きだけど単体で食いたいかなって感じ。
John knew that Delilah thought pineapple on pizza was an abomination.
ミサ だ
What would Delilah prefer? John couldn't help
貴様
wondering.
僕感性ちゃんとしてるんで
Regular sheets, just like the
骨あるのか
regular pizzas he
あるんじゃな
regularly
い
ordered.
Devoid
Wow.
of any sense of style, buying new clothes would be John's toughest challenge.
The silky fabric made John feel like a celebrity. John might want to take the hem up a bit.
あ、これでいい、これでいいね。これがいい、これがいい。
John decided to go with the outfit.
Music, the food of love.
Oh.
Should John go retro sophisticated or just retro?
こっちだね。
John's personal nostalgia was more important than
そ
sound
うそう、パイナ
quality.
ップルありなし。
Every can
What?
was made of metal, pulled from the bones of the earth, wrestled to the surface, and smelted in roaring furnaces.
わからん、
Also,
これの
John
違い
could
が。
buy peas preserved in salty water and stick them up his butt.
$5。わーいっぱい買っ
John's
た
new purchases were on the way to his apartment. All he had to do was invite a date over. One look at all his stuff, and they'd be overwhelmed with sexual desire. John felt proud and also hungry. It gave him an idea. He should invite
いくら
Delilah over for dinner.
だいぶ噴射したよね。
John was excited. Delilah was on her way. He just needed to
ただいま
set the mood to romance.
To love us. Oh. ミュージック、キャンドル。オッケーオッケー。ミュージック、いつどこキャンドルが先にできるの。あ、これか、ミュージック。青。Right. マッチか。マッチか。難しいな。取れない。取れないよ、このマッチ。ああ、そっちなんだ。わあLures. いて。
John hoped she didn't have allergies.
Oh,
That must be Delilah at the door.
get the door. For wine.
The door opened and there was Delilah. John gulped down his nerves and invited her in. John could tell that Delilah was impressed by his stuff. It
Wine.
was time to crank up the mood
Bong.
to seduction.
Ah.
John wanted to offer Delilah
Get it.
wine, but he'd already popped his cork. Delilah started looking as nervous as John felt. He assumed it was because she was shy too. They really were compatible. Of course, at the reunion, he couldn't mention Delilah was a delivery peen. That would be embarrassing. Delilah suddenly headed for the door. And just like that, John was alone again. Delilah hadn't even looked at his stuff. The rejection burned. John felt insignificant. He had everything he wanted. The job, the money, the stuff. So much stuff. He
Destroying all!
shove it into the abyss.
Destroy!
Take that, TV. His stuff didn't matter.
Fuck
You
you!
fridge.
Fuck you!
There's a shaft in the machine. A lonely piston pumping away like all the others
Who
in
is
his rigid
boss?
place. Nothing
What?
special about him. Why should
So
Delilah
that-
or Barbara or any other peen be interested in dating him?
Uh-huh.
He was just like everyone else and they could tell.
Okay.
Begone, boxes. John never liked plants anyway.
John wanted to be special, but he had to face the numb truth. He
なんつって
and
る
all the money and stuff he'd ever accumulated
Ara,
wouldn't
ara.
change that. He thought it would make him unique, but it just made him more like everyone else. He should leave it all.
Show the
Get out of this
material
little town
world.
and go on an
Who is
adventure.
boss?
See the world. He was a boring corporate drone, but he didn't have to be.
He could be a traveler, exploring jungles and climbing mountains. He could visit the wonders of the world and get his picture taken. Like Peony Island, the unspoiled paradise he'd seen on TV.
Okay.
Your dead technology tapes.
Fuck you!
That was it. John had to travel.
Brie.
Bags packed, John was ready to put 5,000 miles between him and his problems. He was leaving it all behind.
Brie, brie, brie. Yeah.
John was so close. He could almost smell the freedom of the skies.
What?
Security sent
Empty
John back
pockets.
through the detector.
Empty.
John had forgotten he had his nail clippers with
これ
him.
ポケットなんだ。
He'd have to buy another pair soon.
Oh.
Or he'd look ridiculous.
おー、来たね。くせえよ、隣が。
In the acceleration of takeoff,
隣がくせえよ。
John felt a sweet relief. He had left his worries on the runway.
来
He
た
was up
ね
in the clouds, on his way to adventure.
うわー。
John's adventure had begun at last.
Uh-huh.
And clearly it was a
旅行
small world
旅に出て
after all. And also a flat one. That was going to piss off the globeheads.
Experiences the war wonders. あきゃ。つまりどうしたらいいんですか？全部壊して回ればいいのか？シワ臭いな。おう、ジャパニーズ。ジャパンだ。ジャパニーズじゃない。ジパンがやけ。あきゃ、ウェーイ！こんにちは。あはははなるほどね。地獄絵図すぎる。ここ頭突っ込めってことか。ブリブリブリブリ。ちょっと待ってわかんない。これどうすんだ？ケツに入れるわけではないのか。あ、入った。ブリ。違う、お家じゃない。ああでかい13箇所訪問しろ。I know.
John was having fun.
お
But
お金なくなっ
something
ちゃったよ。
told him he needed to go home. Probably his empty bank account.
来たね
John was on his way back home. He was out of money, but money can't buy love. What it can buy are the experiences that had made John a more
来たね
interesting and developed person, with 100 Butstagram photos to prove it. Finally, everything was going smoothly.
ウェー
John felt good to be back on the familiar ground of home,
Welcome.
but he would feel better to be on the familiar
Collect.
mattress of home. That's not John's bag.
That's not. Okay. Okay. 出りゃええんか？出れるか？出れます。出れますね。
Despite John's swell of fresh
Catch
optimism,
bus
traveling
home.
was exhausting, and he just
Right.
really wanted to get home and get some sleep.
違う。こっちに行きたいの。荷物持って。よし、オッケー。尿道へ。Go to the left. Go to the light. Please space to pull from what? Oh. Eat your lunch. なんで全裸になったの？ Okay. Find your locker. Oh! Wow. Her locker. あらー。No one will ever love you. うえー！うわー！ヤンキーだ！
Another nightmare. John's stress about getting a date for the reunion was making him think of
めっちゃ
her.
汗かいてる。
Harmony. He hadn't seen her in years. Would she be at the reunion? John shook off the thought. He wasn't a child. He was a fully grown penis.
6 weeks.
John, why is the bathroom barricaded?
Foreskin's sake! Is that a swan?
What?
John had no idea how it had gotten into his home, or why it hated him so much. It would probably be best to leave it alone.
こいつどうすればいいんだ？うんこがある。うんこがある。痛い。あー、詰まった。汚ね。なんか吐いたわ。どうしたらいいのこれ？どうしたらいいんだ？どうしたらいいんだ？わからん。僕の風呂なのに。
John's butt started to buzz. Had he left a vibrator up there? Whatever it was, he should get it out.
What? これ？ああ。
John's old phone.
Oh.
They really were indestructible. It was Sam calling.
サム。デカデカと悪口書かれてる。
He wanted to check in on John. The travel looked fun, but it was so sudden. Was John okay? Sam was such a softie, always worrying about feelings. John had only one feeling, and it was the feeling of being awesome. He could drop Sam a text, but John was on a mission. The reunion was getting closer, and he had to get a date. Fortunately, John knew exactly where to find love.
Okay. お？何もわからないけど。
John held his breath. He was about to meet his match. He had to reassure himself he could do this. He had a good job. He had nice stuff. He had traveled. He was ready to find love.
Find
On Wheeler, where all his sexy
perfect
travel photos
match.
would give him the pick of the pack. Hot. Too skinny.
ついにマッチングアプリってことね。
Too short. Sexy. Very nice. Too much foreskin. Nice shaft. Very hot. gorgeous.
1 hour later. Megan?
Yep, the pick of the pack.
Find... Get any match. どうすんだこれ。どうしたらいいんだこれは。Many hours later.
Yes!
Oh!
John had the pick of the pack.
Yeah!
John valued honesty in a date,
だね。
but he had been expecting a different kind of dirty. A sexy and much more hygienic kind.
来たね。うち来たねえよ。うち来たねえよ。アイスクイーン。Oh! Right?
John was scared of getting circumcised so late in life.
わー、滑る。
Oh,
あ
that on ice. It'll be okay, John. Chicks dig scars. I hope.
ーいっぱい切れてる。
After the reattachment surgery, the doctors had told
This
John
actually
to
gets
rest. So he did, for 6 hours.
おい。あー、来ました。すいません。Find a seat. ああ。
John was in stitches.
コメディ見てる。ギャー切れちゃったね。カリン。おどうすんだ
Karen had invited John straight over. She was not fooling around. Very exciting. And now she wanted him round the back.
おえ。へい。どこ行くん包丁落ちてる。やば。
Karen let John know that the cake
Aita,
was only for the
ite.
kids. So was the candy. And the piñata. And that she'd be back in 1
Look
hour.
after Colleen's kiss. やべやべやべやべ。子持ちかよ、カーリン。寝たわ。メロディー。I love beach princess. Oh.
John laughed at Melody's hilarious bullfrog story. She was adorable. Everything was going
Perfectly.
突然、カ
John
リー
never saw Melody again.
ンメロディーやば急に話がグイグイ進むね。
So far, Weena had been a parade of weirdos and rejections. If this date didn't
Oh.
work out, John vowed to give it up.
シャロラ。
Maybe this time, maybe today would be his day.
すいませんね、すいませんね。ちょっと通してくださいね。
Sharona sighed
Oh.
and said, "You'll do."
どういうことなんえなんで割ったん僕じゃないもん。 take seat. Don't
John felt a little underdressed and a lot overwhelmed.
your
He was
day.
surrounded by strangers, and Sharona was glaring at the muscular
Embarrass ってな
groom.
んだ。
At least John hadn't missed out on the cake.
おう。
John realized that Sharona had only brought him to create some penis envy. What a terrible plan, for so many reasons. John
お
got
う。
excited. They were going to cut the cake.
ああ、人の結婚式に来たの
He's
ね。
mine! Sharona screamed as she launched herself at the
お
newlyweds.
おお、なんだなんだなんだなんだなんだなんだ。
Suddenly, penises were up and yelling, "No, he's mine!" It was a no-holds-barred
げう
cockfight.
わーわーやべえ死ぬやべやべやべやべやべやべやべ
Flying glasses and cake. He felt a
痛い痛い痛い痛い痛い痛い
The groom had dozens of penises after him, and John had none. It was just wrong.
なんでなんでなんでなんでなんでなんで 危
John
ね
left the screams and explosions behind him. It was a disastrous end to his online dating.
えなんで僕はもう一回行くわけでもないから戻ってこいってことだね。どういうことだったの
He had tried everything, and it just wasn't good enough. He wasn't good enough. Maybe the bullies from school were right. Swans were so simple. If you gave them bread, they liked you. But you can't take a swan to a reunion.
おう。どうしていて、いて。
John wanted what that groom had. Love. Real
Wow.
love. The kind that makes
Catch
penises
the
fight
bus.
to the death.
OK Take a shower.
Days later, the question was still bugging John. Why were so many penises in love with the groom? But no one loved John.
ブリおい Do the dishes.
It wasn't fair. John deserved attention.
Ah.
He had money and Buttstagram pics of his adventures. He even still had quite a lot of stuff.
Ah.
What did that penis have that John didn't?
ああああいいんだ Watch some TV.
Then it hit John. That penis was so strong and hard. That's what everyone wanted. That's what John wasn't.
Oh.
That's what John had to be to find love.
オン
It was time to hit the gym.
ヘッドジム Hit the sack. Hit the sack is 何ネタ
John arrived at his local gym. A part of him couldn't believe he was
ジムに来
here.
た
He just wasn't a gym penis. But
みんな
John had
ジム
tried
で
everything
筋
else.
肉もりも
If
り
he
になり
wanted
たい
to
っつ
get
っ
the
て
perfect date, he'd need to sign
Wait
up.
for gym
Sam?
あ、サムじゃ
What
ん
was he doing here? Of course, Sam was married. John's theory was right. If you get muscles, you get love.
みんなマッスルになりたいよな開かない
Out of
ね
nowhere, Sam asked John how he was doing. Really doing. For a moment, John wanted to be honest. But he didn't come to gym to be a softie. John was here to
Wait.
get hard. It was John's first time in a gym since school. John had two options.
Vita
He
membership.
could try month by month, or if he signed the 10-year Big Muscles Big Savings contract, he'd get a free easy squeezy water bottle. John wasn't a sucker. He knew the importance of hydration.
ゴックゴックブリオッケー
The gym's clean peen pool policy meant that John would have to do something he had never done before. Get naked in front of strangers. Maybe he could set a record for speediest cleanse. Naked, John could feel the blanket of steam intimately against his private parts. John pretended he was alone and not surrounded by wrinkly, wet cocks.
What
was John nervous about? That he would be laughed at? There was nothing funny about a naked penis.
OK。あ、すいませんね。
Very fetching, John. It even matches your taglines. Time to conquer the pool.
違うみたいですね。あ、来たわ。
Sam enthusiastically greeted John and offered to show him around. Obviously not realizing that John was a natural athlete. The pool was like baptism, the icy water washing away John's flabby flab. He found his stroke, gliding through the water like an eel with large, ungainly testicles. This wasn't hard. John couldn't believe Peens actually got gold medals just for splashing around. Maybe he could become an Olympian. He was slowing down a bit, flailing a bit. But John pushed on, knowing that looking good in a Speedo was the only thing that could save him from an empty existence. John wanted to take a break, forever. The pool was not his friend. It was not the blissful wet dream of his fantasies. It was a hellish prison of murderous fluid determined to drown him. No wonder life called out to sea, desperate to escape the water. Damn. John had not drowned, but more importantly, he had not quit. Time to hit the weight room. John's muscles bunched and bulged. The time in the gym was already paying off. Fresh from conquering the pool, John felt ready for anything the gym could throw at him, even heavy metal weights. Sam cheered John on, as if he needed it.
Light weight. リフトウェイト。どうやんだ？ちょっと難しいな、これ。
Adrenaline coursed through John's veins, his butthole clenched like a fist. John was forging himself into the peen he saw on movie screens, bulging and sweat-soaked, hard and shiny. Boom! John was cocked and loaded. Didn't Sam ever get out of breath? The stream of encouragement was exhausting. John, getting flung from fast-moving objects since preschool. Slow and steady. That's right, John. Like a lover. Or pouring gravy.
That
had gotten John's heart rate up and his life expectancy down. John was sweating like a senator on a sex tape, but he wasn't done. John took a deep breath, clenched, and pulled. Sam made this look so easy. John squashed the thought. He'd just have to push harder. John tried to make eye contact with Sam, get in his head a bit. Sam didn't seem to notice John, but John could tell Sam was impressed. Even though he still hadn't looked at John, not that it mattered to John, because John was in the zone, deep in the zone. With the sound of a deflating truck tire, John's sphincter gave out. Sam congratulated John for trying and told him it was okay to take things as if John was going to quit. Well, he wasn't. John had a mission, and the reunion was getting closer.
難しいよ、あれ。ジョブ。 swim。リフト。リフトを上げます。上げます。上げれない。上げた。ほんで、食う。飲み食い。work。ジョグ。これでムキムキマッスル面になるんだ。スイム。よし。で、食う。ちょっとなんか、この頬みたいなやつ、ちょっと膨れた。骨が出てきた。4 weeks。なんか、ちょっと速くなってる。おらおらおらおら。あ、割れた。なんかダンベルもすごいことになってる。いっぱい食って、いっぱい食って。はい。ワーク？仕事して寝ます。ブリ。おい、今ゲームしてたやろ。What is that light? Left. Go up to her. え？だ。だ。いて。よし。あれ。スコー。なんでこんなにやばい学校が。やばいやばいやばいやばいやばいやばいあーやばいやばいやばいやばいやばいやばい死ねああ、僕が Find your locker 痛いなんだ突然世界観変わったけど。えあやば。レフト。なんで突然こんな鉄何ミリ何キロあると思ってんだ。いたああそうだ危ない危ない。To the door on the light。ああ。Impress her。なんだなんでだよ。Ever love you。あー、伸びる。また怖いよ。
As soon as John woke up, the mirror called to him. His abs look like a
腹筋バキバキになってる。
sealed hot dogs. Tasty.
ありさんこんばん
Jim
は
had。remade John into a sculpted adongus.
ふわーって。
He was finally everything a peen should be. Successful, traveled, and photogenic. It was time for his morning pre-gym workout.
切った。トレードミルク。なんか、鶏震えてない？
The swan was starting to like John. It hadn't tried to peck his eye out in hours.
どうした？鶏じゃねえわ、あいつ。ミルクいつ取れた？
The reunion invitation caught John's eye.
He
read it again. And again.
何？
Stunned.
ジョン、夢だね、多分。
Very wrong. The reunion was tonight.
Tonight! Okay! なんて？
He'd have to go alone. They'd all be there, and they'd look at John and they'd know he was still a loser. No, there was still time.
Oh.
John needed a date fast.
やばい、それはやばい。
Out. He'd have to make an impact. John had to dress his best.
ヒットだ。
Better.
クラブス。クラブってなんだ？ヒットだ、クラブ。なんだ
There had to be someone single and desperately alone in the city. Someone besides John. He just had
今の
to
スピードやばか
find
ったね。
them. John went straight to the nearest bar. Sure, it was still
なるほど
early,
ね。
but he couldn't waste any time. There must be some day drinkers he could pick up.
やべ
It was a classy place. Even the vomit was high quality.
ですよね。
The bouncer looked like a hagfish that had taken up
Yeah.
lacrosse.
どういうことだ？力は入れないんだね。おお。
Much better.
Much better. 多いんじゃねってことね。
John stepped into the bar and saw her. The answer
Oh.
to the question, what was John's purpose? Her. Loving her. Being with
Loving
her.
her.
Taking her to the reunion. Their eyes met and John knew she felt the same.
Yeah.
Gladys did not feel the same. But John wasn't going to give up on their life together. A couple of drinks would loosen her up to their destiny.
なるほど。
Wow. Gladys was not an amateur when it came to drinking. John had to keep up.
Get drink. Buy another round of drink. ブリブリ。
It was working. Gladys was definitely warming up to
めっ
John.
ちゃ飲んでる。
John's bladder was very full. It sloshed audibly as he moved.
あー。Find the restroom. 酔ってんね。うろろろろろろろろろ。きったね。
Holy balls. John had never felt such relief.
きったね。吐きやがって。あ。あ。一旦
Only John could wash
顔
off the
洗って
embarrassment like he washed off the urine.
よし。
John looked around. Gladys was gone. John cursed his petite bladder.
お
It was clear the
Ah,
cockpit was
ah, yeah,
on autopilot. Time for John to hit the next
バー
bar.
テンダーに聞きたかったのに。違う。出ちまったのは違うんだよ。あ、
John's
Greta!
anxiety had sunk under the surface of the beer he'd drunk, while his confidence was floating high. This was the place he'd find love.
グレタ。
It was empty, except for the bartender. Clearly, this bar's only special was unhappy hour.
あはええ。バイ。
Two for one was a good deal, though, and so far the beer had lifted John's spirits. Another four would make him feel twice
Buy
as good.
another 2 beer. Okay.
The bartender gave John a smile that set his heart hammering. He had to impress her.
チップザバーテンダー。はい。チップだよと。Give an even もっと。なんだよ、なんだよ。
What was so offensive
Wow.
about offering a big tip in exchange for a date?
なんだ
John
よ
had。thought bartenders love tips.
あ、
He
どっちが多
needed
く
to
飲め
find
る
a
か。
better club, one with a vibe.
よくわかんないんだけど、ストーリー。ぐれて
John
る。
was drawn by the pulse of the music. It pulled him forward like a moth to a fiery death. John was running out of time to find a date and prove that he wasn't a loser. Dancing, the real way
Find
to
a space
flirt,
to dance.
the way of animals, of wild sexual creatures. John strutted and shook his booty. With booze buzzing round his head, John found himself on the dance floor. Everyone was up close and sweaty. John was
難しいな、意外
exhilarated.
と。
He felt alive. John was working himself up to try a little bump and grind.
難しいな。ウェーイ。
It was a moment out of a movie. John alone on the dance floor with a gorgeous penis, their sexual chemistry exploding.
Dance with her. Hey.
She moved away, coyly.
ディクシュ
John could tell when someone was playing hard
筋
to
肉に
get.
裏切られて。ああ。難しいこれ。
He let her marinate in the tension before making his move.
Make your
John wasn't
move.
taking no for an answer.
あ
Some people have no sense
ま
of
たダメ
fun,
でした。
but John was certain the next bar would be different.
次のバーに。
The
あ
next
あ。
bar wasn't different. John couldn't understand why everyone was so sensitive.
ジョンマジでダメなんだな。
It was like no one wanted to have a good time. Like no one had a sense of humor. John had meant that as a compliment.
ジョンかわいそう。
When did the world get so uptight?
Oh.
John's ego was as bruised as his shaft. He had to admit it. He'd failed. He was where he belonged, in a creepy murder alley covered in trash. Oh, that's gross.
That's gross. うえ
Ugh. Oh, it's so moist, but textured. It smells like rotting dick yogurt. John's misery was so
やらららら
in his
来
mouth.
たね
He needed a drink to wash it down. There was still one bar he hadn't been kicked out of yet. John had cleaned himself up as much as possible. He really needed a mint.
Oh? Press E. Insert. Insert. 入れれないかな？入らないかな？
John got it in, but he needed more to satisfy the machine. Nailed it.
OK. Select mint. あれ？
John let out his anger, his frustration. Life was a shitty joke. It wasn't fair. You want to mess with John?
Return to... Yeah. あー、動けない。ちゃんと動いて。ジョンどうした現れな。ジョンだっけ？名前がわからない。ケツが。ボタンを押させてくっ。インサートプロ。ちょっと待って。ヘッドバット。ちょっと待って。ボタンが押せない、ボタンが。どうしたらいいボタンが押せないよ。ちょっと待って。オッケー。ボタン押したよね。頭ね、上がんないの。突然上がんなくなっちゃった。操作難しい。さっきまで上がってたくせに。突然なんかぬるぬる動くようになっちゃって。頭上がれ。ゲッターミントください。どうしたもんかな？お金ばっかりまき散らかしてよ。あー、いけた。今一瞬いけたのに。頭上がったけど一瞬じゃちょっと長く押し続けたいんですよね。ちょっと待ってくださいよ。バケツかなんかつかめないんだよね、これ。ぶつけられるかな？ちょっと、マジで。頭が上がらねえ。突然ぬるぬる動くようになっちゃった。ヘッドバット？ つまりこういうこと？あ、落ちそう。落ちそう、落ちそう、落ちそう。よこせ。よこせ。よこせ。あー、落ちそうで落ちない。くー、難しい、ここ。ちょっと待って、難しい、難しい。落ちないんだが。リターン押せって書いてあるよね。でも、たまにミントが落ちそうになるのはどういうことなんだろう。わからない。わかんないよー。わかんないよー。有識者。あ、落ちそうなんで落とせ落とせ落とせ落とせ落とせ返せ返せ返せ返せお金を返せボタン押しても帰ってこないよ。どうしたらいいの？ここどうしたらいいの？マジでわからん。マジでわからん。どうしたらいいんだ？頭突きしてもね、なんもなんないんだよ。どうしたらいいんだ？ちょっと待って、わからない。わかんないよ。どういうこと進まなくなっちゃった。こっちならボタン押せるか。ティッシュ出てる。なんだこれ。なんだこれ。なんでミントが欲しいのかもようわからん。ねえ、なんだこれ。わかんないよー。お金返して。ミントちょうだい。わかんないよー。ゴミが気持ち悪いからってこともうよくね？わかんない、マジで。 どうなってんの俺。進めないしな。どうしたらいいの？どうしたらいいの？どうしたらいいんだ？マジでわからん。ダッシュ？ダッシュのボタン？そんなの知らない。どれだ？違うな。わかんない。ダッシュって何？頭と体入れ替わんなくなっちゃった。あ、できた。ダッシュってどれだ？一度再起？コンフィグ。メインメニューとリスタート。これはわからないんだが。どうしたらいいの？エンターキー？ああ！
This is what you get. Fuck you, you fucking thing.
エンターキーだったか。
One job.
ベコベコになってるけど。
Die, 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 die,
Die!
It's not fair. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not.
It's not, it's not, it's not. 怒りが限界。電源突破？ああ。
That's how you get what you want. Menthol.
Menthol. ありがとう。なるほどね、エンターキーね。
John wanted the strongest drink they had. Rough night? Someone asked John. He hadn't noticed her when he came in, but now he did. It really had been a rough night for John, but he felt a little better that someone cared enough to ask. It was a pity they were only sort of attractive. But destiny had given John a second chance. John made his move. Unfortunately, according to Alice and to her boyfriend Chadrick, it was the wrong move.
ああ、また追い出された。
Chadrick threw John into the alley and followed, making unoriginal but still terrifying threats.
Get him, John. Oh my god. I can't watch. Don't hold back. Ouch. Give it to him.
おら、おら、おら、おら、おら、おら、おら、おら、おら、おら。
John had survived. No, he'd won. He'd won. He'd won. He wasn't a loser. And there was the proof lying in a bruised, bloody heap. John didn't need a date to the reunion. He needed to go over there and beat the pre-cum out of those dicks. High school reunion, the perfect time to teach someone a lesson.
Get out of the here. ボコボコ。
The doors of the school,
口が死ぬ
a
ほど悪
sight
い。
John had dreaded every day for years, and now he was going willingly through them, unafraid, fueled by years of unprocessed anger fermented in loneliness. John was back.
帰ってきたぜと。ぐれてる。
The chickens were coming home to roost, and they were all cocks.
Fine.
These were the peanuts he'd grown up with, now with jobs and marriages and beer bellies. John was surprised at how ordinary they had all turned out. He spotted them, John's tormentors. Time for them to
同窓会
feel the wrath.
Return to head.
John gave them a chance to apologize. They were laughing at John like they had never stopped. John was going to have to make it end.
どういうこと？ヘッドバット。
Shake off the pain, buddy.
おえー、やれってこと？
Dodge! Careful. Pow! Ah!
おー。空飛んでる僕。
Who's a loser now? Who? Whoa!
Whoa!
Ow! How do you like that?
やべえなこいつ。
Fight back, John! Don't let up. Get in there. That's the stuff, John. Ha! John had won. He'd won. No one could say John was a loser now.
ブリブリブリブリ。めっちゃ大変なことになってるじゃん。
John's primal joy faded as he saw how the other penises looked at him. Not like a winner, like he was trash.
ああ、捕まるやん。
John tumbled down the steps, hitting every bruise on his length and his ego. It was her, Harmony. She had been at the reunion. She'd seen it all and followed John out to laugh at
ちょっと待って、
him
動かさせて。
No.
見えない。
to see if he was all right. Why did that hurt John so much? This was John's chance to ask her why all those years ago she'd said to him, "No one will ever love you." Harmony stared at John in shock.
また捨てられた。
How could John not know why? Didn't John remember what he'd done?
来たね。なんだ？つまりどういうこと？おう。おう。お、ミミズがいる。 another apple。アップルがないんだよね。アップルどこなんだろうね。アップルがないんだよね。汚すぎ。汚ねえよな、これ。アップルじゃないんだよな、これ。汚ねえ。ask her out。ああ。Ever love you。やば。どういうこと？終わったのこれ。あー、来た。サムやんけ。あら！
There was nothing Sam enjoyed more than the fresh air of an early morning. The dew sparkling on the grass, the music of the trees.
Ask a friend to
Space
play
think.
with you.
Sam stared at the view, peaceful.
Family member. ちょっと今いないっすね。一緒にやれる人。そうっすね。
It was fine to stay still and enjoy the absence of pressure to move forward.
そうですね。こっからは2人プレイじゃないとダメな感じですか？もうどうしようもなんない感じ。いい話だった。どういう話だったんだ？いい話だったらよかったのにな。キー操作が。十字キーで動かなくなったんだ。理解。違う。こっちが戻って、こっちが下ね。
What was that smell? It made Sam's eye water.
難しいこれ。汚い。
It was John.
ジョン。
Passed out and crusted with vomit and regret.
汚ね。
John was awake and tolerably clean. Sam tried to be gentle and invited John to join him on his walk.
汚い。
Sam coaxed John along. It was like herding compost.
汚ねーこいつ。動かしづらいこれ。動かない。違う、こう。二人しておならをするな。 ちょっと待って、動かない。動かしづれい、これ。ちょっと待って。動かしづらいよ。わからん。
John couldn't answer Sam's
小
questions
巻き、
yet.
小巻き、やっ
How
ほ
had he
ー。
ended
ご飯
up
食った
such a wreck?
全部汚いよ。えい。起きろ。Please eat money.
John immediately felt better, but his head was still pounding, and not in a good
だ
way.
ね。ああ。で、
The throbbing ache dulled. John was feeling much more himself, and he realized that was not what he wanted to feel.
バーベキューマン。やべやべやべやべやべやべやべやべやべやべやべやべやべ。
Even that bit of senseless destruction couldn't cheer John up.
違うんや。
Sam saw his friend's misery. He suggested they keep going.
今同時作業してる。同時作業っていうか同時操作してるから、ちょっとね、マジで。feeling。来たね、来たね。
John wanted to know
上に
something.
上がって。
Why didn't anyone love him? As soon as he said it, he felt like a softie, whining about his feelings.
操作が難しい。いい。
But Sam didn't make fun of him. Sam asked him to go on. And so John told him the whole story about
Okay.
how hard he'd made himself and how unfair it felt, and everything he'd done.
つまりどういうこと？
Saying it out loud, John realized he'd sounded like an asshole. But he'd done everything right. Why didn't he get what he wanted? Why didn't John get love? Wanting someone isn't the same as loving them, said Sam. You
対話しながら
figure it out,
進んでるっ
John.
てことね。
You have to keep trying.
わからん。わからんよ。何もわからん。
How about a bike ride? Sam asked.
バイクライド。Get on the bike. お
John
い
struggled to get his balance, but Sam told him not to give up. John kept trying, getting better as they went.
チンチン。やばいやばいやばいやばい。進みすぎちゃう。ドキドキー。ほら、ドキドキ怖いそこら。危ない危ない危ない危ない。こっちこっちこっちこっちこっちこっちこっちこっち行って、あーごめんごめん。あー痛い痛い痛い、ごめんごめんごめんなさいごめんなさいごめんなさい。当てるつもりはなくて。難しい。
John and Sam stopped and looked at the sunset. For a moment, John let himself be quiet and listen to the world and look at how beautiful it could be.
うん
Life can be hard, said Sam. But that doesn't mean we have to be.
あ、終わった。つまりどういうことだったの？難しかった。ん？ friend。あー、やべえ！ pick up big flower。冷た。やべえ。attend the party. Wait outside. やべやべやべやべやべ。サムは見捨てなかったら多分、paint your emotional。わかんない。Look after your pet's swamp. わかんない。Get to know some wife and kids. 見てる。ヘルプ待ったー！待て待て待て待て待て待て、ばあちゃんばあちゃんばあちゃんばあちゃん、待て待て待て、バカバカバカバカ。Rescue cat from a tree. にゃんにゃん。White right bat なんとか。Watch タイタニック。最悪のタイタニック。ああ。ひでえ。天地引かれちゃった。いい。じゃない。チンチンじゃないよ。なんかに似た生き物だから。あ。ブー、ビー。ぶち込まれとるがな。あ、来た来た来た来た来た。Thank you. Thanks for playing. Thanks. よくわかんなかったけど、ごめんね。イングリッシュ弱々なんだ。はい。何かに似たゲーム、よくわかんなかったんですけど、終わったね。なんか友情的なことだったのかな。全然すぎて、そうね。これね、オンラインマルチができる臭いんだよね。青。青。ちょっと待って。 青。ちょっと帰るのはどうすんだ。帰っている。アーカイブ、調べたらね、配信してる人の動画が見れたからワンチャン大丈夫だと思うんだよね。なんか、そんなに、ここでもある。そうだね。というわけで、どうでしたでしょうか。なんかね、僕はね、ちょっとよくわかんなかった。まあ、でもね、楽しいではあった。意外とね、何したらいいとかわかるものも多かったから。わけがわからない。わけがわからないところもまああるにはあったけど、なかなか楽しいゲームでした。人類には早すぎた。そうだね。まず、主人公が人類じゃないからね。まあ僕もトカゲなんだけどね。でも、なかなか楽しいゲームでした。アリさんありがとう。こんな感じで、昨日も卵やってたんだけど、僕にやってほしいゲームとかあったら、これおすすめやでって言ってくれたら気になったら買うし、全然送ってきてもらっても。いやでもね、やりたいから送ってくれって催促してるわけではなくて、どうしてもやらせたいよっていうのがあったら、送ってくれたら問答無用なので、多分やると思います。いや、知らんけどね。だいぶ時間が空くかもしれないし、開かずにサクッと配信でやるかもしれないし。まあ、よくわかんないけどね。そうだね。ストーリーがちょっとよくわからないようにしていただければなと思うんですけど。そうだね。ランゲージジャパニーズないからね。別にいいんだよ。送ってくれって言ってるわけじゃないし、全然いいんだけど、楽しかったからいいんだけど。そうだね。僕の嫌いなジャンルってあんまりゲームではないので、そうだね。なんか、一般的にはイライラゲーみたいなやつも割と好きだから、昨日の卵もそうだし、つぼうじもね、なんか、そんなにイライラせずできるタイプなんだよね。なので、なんか、いい感じのあれば教えてくれたら嬉しいなと思います。ストーリー終わっちゃったし終わろうか。明日の金曜日は、一応ね、コラボしたいなと思ってて、で、明日の金曜とか、コラボ日程大丈夫っすかつって、ディスコサバにいるメンツにね、オールメンションでやったんだよ。聞いたんだよ。そしたら、一人しか反応してくれてなくて、他の二人がどうかわからないから、じゃあもう一人の反応してくれてる人に、ちょっと明日二人だけどいいっすかって聞いたら、なんで僕らを誘ってくれないのって二人突然現れましたので、明日は4人でファスモフォビアコラボを行います。今のなんで僕を誘ってくれないのみたいなので、誰か察しがつくニキニキはいるかもしれないけど、まあ、いい感じの りと3匹でやっていきたいと思いますので、また情報はおいおい。よいしょ。ほんで、心なくした。さあ、どこの誰なんだろうね。どこの狼さん。どこの方でしょうね。今、スプラトゥーンやってるよ、多分。そっちもちゃんと見に行きなよ。頑張ってんだから。今度の大会もね、1月だっけのもね、出るために頑張って練習してるみたい。応援してあげてね。お前のお嫁じゃん。違うよ。あの子ほら、周りにいっぱいいるから。嫁も旦那も。で、金曜日はお化け探し。マジ、この画面の BGM うるせえな。ちょっと待って。声あんま聞こえてないでしょ。線にしてるのにな。オッケー。草。うん。どこまで行った？僕がファイヤーパンチのアグニ様になったっていう話までしたね。そうだね。BGM 主張激しいんだよ。めちゃくちゃでかくてさ。まあいいや、もうちょっとの辛抱だ。下げても下げても下がらねえ。多少下がったか、これで。はい。で、金曜、お化け探しして、土曜日あたりから、続きもののちょっと長めのやつ、僕の大好きなゲームをついにね、やっていこうかなと思ってるので、またお暇でしたらぜひ見に来ていただけると助かります。まあ、大好きなゲームっていうだけあっても何回もやってて、なんか新しい反応とかはないんだけど、割とサクサクプレイになるんじゃないかなとは思うけど、まあそこら辺は。見てて楽しいかは知らんけど、頑張っていきたいと思います。以上かな。うん。OK。では今回は終わり。ご視聴ありがとうございました。なんだ。なんか言おうとしたんだけど、ちょっと待ってね。告知はしたろ？告知して、BGM の音がでかくてさ、なんか考えてることが飛んじゃうんだよね。まあ、いっか。終わろう。お疲れ様でした。おつまき。来てくれてありがとうやで。バイバーイ。おやすみー。おつまきやでー。